Hello everybody and welcome to Redmond C.S. Finney Athletic Center here at Gilman School in Baltimore, Maryland. I am Julian Barron alongside Nathan Heinlein, ready for some Gilman hoops here tonight between the Greyhounds and the Archbishop Spalding Cavaliers of Anne Arundel County. And Nathan, things really haven't gone Gilman's way so far in this basketball season, but today would be a huge win against an opponent that it takes a while for them to get up here.
Yeah, exactly, and you think that kind of travel distance might make it more difficult for them to kind of get into the groove earlier. You know, you get a little bit laggy, a little bit groggy after sitting on the bus for a while, and so we're hoping that they're not as ready to play as they would normally be. I think this Gilman team's fired up. You know, they haven't won too many games recently, so they're definitely looking to get a game here tonight, and I think it's definitely the possibility for that to happen.
And one man that we know is very capable on this Gilman team would be number 3, Jalen Rucker. His shooting from beyond the arc has been superb all year. And then, of course, when you talk about shooting, you have to bring into the conversation Drew Ehrlich as well.
Yeah, they've both been fantastic all year, Julian, and really quite reliable pieces for this Gilman Greyhound team, so they're going to obviously have to be on point here tonight. I think they will be. This one should be fun to watch.
As we send it down to the court here, both teams assemble on their respective sidelines. Big shout out to our crew here tonight for Greyhound TV, Connor Doak on the scoreboard, and then Max Kahn taking care of the camera. As head coach Mr. Owen Daly of the Greyhounds convenes with his team on the right side of the court, on the far side. PA announcer Mr. Dan Christian getting ready to announce the starting lineups for each team. We welcome all viewers, whether you're a Greyhounds fan or a Cavaliers fan. This is going to be a fun one here tonight, and we are glad to have you along board. As the clock continues to wind down, and Nathan, we've seen Spalding before, but not in basketball. We were with them last year, at the end of the year, when Gilman took them on in the MIAA Championship Series, a 2-game series, because Gilman forced, after winning Game 1, a second game. That was certainly exciting with players. Just off the top of my head, I remember David Harding and Nick Vermillion. That was a really fun time.
Yeah, that was a good time for Greyhound TV, a big game that we covered. And, of course, in anticipation of baseball season, we're excited to get back into doing that. So, yeah, these teams have definitely, faced each other on pretty big stages. And so these are not unfamiliar foes.
That is for sure. As we get set for the announcement of the starting lineups here tonight. We will hear from Spalding first. Number 4, Connor Anthony coming out here. First to be announced. He's a senior for the Cavaliers.
At the other guard, number 5, Hank Schemmel.
And here is Hank Schemmel right behind his teammate Connor Anthony, going over to shake the hands, or rather just fist bump the referees, and then shaking the hands of Mr. Owen Daly of Gilman. Now here's number 11, Derek Hinton. Hinton also a senior.
At a second forward, number 10, Brock.
Now here's number 10, Brock Bozeman. Bozeman, a sophomore here on this varsity team for the Cavaliers. And then lastly, we have number 24, Barry McCormick. He is also a senior, and that will complete the lineup here for Archbishop Spalding as we turn it over to the right side of the court to take a look at your Gilman Greyhounds.
He's assisted by Mr. Jamal Haywood, by Mr. Christopher Douglas, and by Mr. Fred Stalamanek. And now, the starting lineup for the home team and hosts, the Gilman Greyhounds. At one guard, the 5'10" sophomore, number 3.
Here comes Jalen Rucker, who we were talking about before, Nathan. He could be lethal, and Spalding's going to have to watch him.
Yeah, he's always a huge contributor for this Gilman offense. And they like to give him the ball in space almost anywhere. There's nowhere that he can't be effective. He's good under the basket, good deep. You just like to get in the ball as much as you can and just try to get opportunities with him.
Here's the senior, Donald Duncan, going over to shake hands with Mr. Nicholas Jones of the Spalding Cavaliers, the head coach he is for Archbishop Spalding. Now Kieran Sandy taking the court. Big rebound man for the Greyhounds. They rely on him big time in the paint.
At a second forward, the 5'11" junior, number 5,
Now here's Brandon Madison. We know how talented he is, Nathan. We always talk about how he's great on the football field and great on the basketball court.
Yeah, he's just a great athlete, Julian, and that translates to both sports that require heavy athleticism for you to be able to produce at a high level. So, you know, he's effective in both sports and a great guy out there. Fun to watch, too, Julian.
And this lineup is capped off by the senior Drew Ehrlich. And that's really interesting you bring that up, Nathan, because there are so many great athletes out there, especially in the NFL, that play both basketball and football in college and high school. One of the ones that comes to my mind would be Jimmy Graham at the Seahawks. He was a great basketball player for the Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah, it translates really well. A guy who's really tall and really athletic, of course, can still do it on the football field as well as the basketball field. So guys with just superior athleticism can go out there and dominate on both sports.
So now we take a look at both teams as they come towards midcourt, getting ready for the tip. Of course, Gilman will send Kieran Sandy out there, the tallest man they've got on their roster. Spalding will counter with number 5, Henry Schemmel, or Hank rather, as I believe they call him. That's one thing our rosters don't account for, Nathan. Nicknames.
Yes, of course. Very difficult to determine those. We'll give them their own nicknames, though. We like doing that.
Spalding wins the tip, and we are underway. Brock Bozeman gives it off to number 4, Connor Anthony. Now they go far side, number 11, Derek Hinton. Bounce pass inside, going up for it with one hand, and it is no good after taking 2 bounces off the rim. The putback is good from Bozeman.
And just looking at them in warm-ups, that being the Spalding team, they were really consistent with their shots. They made a pretty considerable number of them, so effective shooters is this Spalding team.
This one is broken up by Connor Anthony, who puts it up, and good for 2 off the glass. 7:30 to go, and Spalding has a 4-0 lead. Ehrlich now on the far side, getting ready for a pass, and he gives it to Donald Duncan, the senior, who gives it off to Kieran Sandy. Sandy, a pass to the top of the arc. Ehrlich, 4-3. He knocks it down. It's 4-3. Now here's Anthony, looking for somewhere to go with it, backing up and directing traffic. Guarded by Brandon Madison, he gives it off far side Bozeman. Bozeman pulling it back. Now he drives. Bozeman spins around and hands it off to the man behind him. At the edge of the paint, they give it right back to Anthony. Anthony stepping back. Now beyond the arc, here's the drive inside, putting it up no good. The ball bounced around, and it falls into the hands of Donald Duncan. Duncan driving in the paint, taking a mid-range jumper. This is good. Falling off the back of the rim and in. And Gilman has a lead, 5-4.
And when Donald Duncan does it, just looks so smooth there, Julian. A great transition, good shot. Looked very crisp on his part. He's really an effective and well-polished player for this Gilman team.
Bozeman setting a pick. Here comes Anthony. He gives it off, but cannot get the pass to go. Corrals it after it's tipped by Jalen Rucker. Rucker tips it again and gets it in his hands. Now the bounce pass across the court. Donald Duncan up for 2. Great assist.
What a great play by Jalen Rucker, getting an amazing steal on the defensive end and then finding an open player down the field. Great awareness and great defense by number 3, Jalen Rucker.
Now Hinton passes to the far side. It's McCormick. McCormick looking for room to go. Here's Anthony going for the long-range 3, no good. Rebounded, the spin, the putback, goes right in. That's Derek Hinton. Now Ehrlich corrals it after almost letting it go out of bounds. The give-off to Donald Duncan, the senior. Now over to Brandon Madison. Jalen Rucker now gives it to Drew Ehrlich. A lot of passing here from Gilman. The spin and the fall down by Donald Duncan. They'll call the travel as his pivot foot slipped on the court.
It's been a pretty fast-paced start for both teams, Julian. Both of them have been moving the ball pretty quickly. We assume they're going to slow down at some point. Can't imagine their stamina is going to last this entire game at such a high level.
Well, Nathan, of course it's true that a fast game is something that can really wear at you very quickly. So both teams are going to need to find a way to recover from this incredibly fast start. Here comes Spalding to drive inside the paint. A man falls down for Gilman. Anthony puts it up mid-range. No good, doesn't even hit the rim. Now the pass out of bounds is going to go the way of the Greyhounds. It goes over towards their bench. It'll be inbounded by the senior, Drew Ehrlich. Glad to have all of you with us here tonight on Greyhound TV. Again, I am Julian Barron alongside Nathan Heinlein. Cavaliers versus the Greyhounds in an MIAA Friday night showcase. Ehrlich looking for a second three of the game, and he knocks it down. Double digits for Gilman now, off of the three by Ehrlich.
And Julian, he just has no nerves going up there and shooting a three right again. He just likes that spot right in the front there, hitting 2 in a row from that position. Great job by Drew Ehrlich. He's got that knocked down to a science.
That is no good. Looking for it there was Hinton off the pass from Bozeman, could not get it. Now here comes Brandon Madison. Madison gives it off. Ehrlich looking for another one. He gets it to go.
Man, you got to feed the hot hand, Julian.
Drew Ehrlich absolutely on fire to start this game. And Nathan, this is deja vu. Remember the BL game?
He just hits these kind of streaks, Julian. It seems like he can't miss. And he's just on fire from three right there. Just a great job by him. So calm, so comfortable taking those deep shots. Drew Ehrlich, such a powerful impact player early on in this game.
And Nathan, I think when you're a coaching staff of any team in any sport, you have to remember who is and isn't streaky. And when you see a guy starting to go on a streak, you've got to feed him. And that's exactly what they're doing right now.
Yeah, just get him the ball. If he's comfortable and he's on fire, he's going to want the ball. Just give it to him, And if a guy's, missing all his shots, having really a difficult time getting points up, just give him a little bit of time to get adjusted to this game. And when you're struggling to make those kind of shots, you got to work yourself out. You got to start shooting buckets underneath, kind of working your way out to that three-point shot. But when you're like Drew Ehrlich and you can just fire it from the beginning of the game and make those threes, keep feeding that hot hand until he's no longer hot.
Derek Hinton passes to the far side. This is Connor Anthony now, guarded by Brandon Madison. We have a stoppage and a foul off the ball. It's going to go the way of the Greyhounds. They will get this one, inbounded by the senior Donald Duncan here to Jalen Rucker. 4:33 to go in the first quarter. Of course, you can follow all things Greyhound TV at greyhoundtv.org. Be sure to check us out there. You can follow us on Twitter at Greyhound_TV. Again, that's at Greyhound_TV. Jalen Rucker passes to Kieran Sandy. Sandy give off now Brandon Madison. Madison looking for the three. He puts it up. It's no good. Tipped by Ehrlich into the hands of Hinton. Now here comes Hinton down the court. Quickly driving into the paint, putting it up with one hand, and getting it to fall. Brandon Madison now taking his time at the 4-minute mark. Ehrlich, the senior, fakes the pass and now gives it to Kieran Sandy, who corrals it with one hand, pulls it back, tries to put it up, but he cannot get it to go. McCormick bringing it the other way. Now they give off to Hinton. Hands it behind his back. Put up. It's good. Number 5, Schemmel there for the bucket.
Spalding's been really dominant underneath the basket right there, Julian. That's another one of their tip-ins. They've had 2 other ones this night that have been very similar in that aspect. So Gilman needs to do a better job guarding with their interior defense.
Brandon Madison was fouled on his way up, and he will have an opportunity for the first time tonight for the Greyhounds from the charity stripe. Of course, Nathan, we are very excited about the upcoming spring season. We'll be covering both baseball and lacrosse. You can check out our full spring broadcast schedule at greyhoundtv.org, and you can go over to the schedule page. This one by Madison is no good. Falls off the rim.
Yeah, we have a really packed schedule this year, trying to get every single game that we can, as it is kind of our last ride in the sense that me and Julian will be going off into the sunset after the season. So we're going to try to string it out and make it last as long as it can.
We will do our best to make sure that the spring season is our best yet, as it will indeed be my last season on Greyhound TV, as well as Nathan, both of us seniors, heading out. As we reach the 3:20 mark in the first quarter, Hinton on the far side, pass inside now. McCormick looking for room to drive, puts it off a fade, no good. Rebounded by Foster, who brings it the other way. The pass to Jalen Rucker now, and Gilman will have an opportunity to set up their offense. Instead, Jalen Rucker drives, kicks it out. Brandon Madison now in the paint, puts it up with one hand. The runner's no good. Rebounded by Connor Anthony, the long pass down court. Here comes McCormick. McCormick off of Mike Willis, puts it up, and it is good. We have a tie game on our hands.
Probably one of the better starts that Gilman has seen this entire season. Usually they tend to fall early and slowly make their way back into the game, but this time Gilman's been hot from the start.
My bad. It's actually 14-12. We do not have a tie game on our hands. I was getting a little bit too preemptive as Rucker puts it up for 3, no good. Rebounded by Anthony, and Anthony brings it the other way for the Cavaliers. Now here's the drive, putting it up and getting it to go, and now we have the tie game I was looking for.
Yeah, it looks like you're a soothsayer, Julian, trying to predict the future there.
That's Schemmel on the bucket. Jalen Rucker loses it, goes to Hinton. Now the lob down court. Here we go. Schemmel putting it up off of Drew Ehrlich, cannot get it. The second attempt by O'Farrell is good.
And a great response from Spalding due to a hot Gilman team that came off early with a couple Drew Ehrlich-led threes. Good job by them working their way back in, not being flustered early on, and saying, you know, we can just work our way back in this game. It's really early. Just try to score when we can. Don't take unnecessary shots, and they've done just that.
And it's very important, Nathan, when you're down on the court, or really in any sport, just to not have a hot head. You don't want to get too emotional. You don't want to get too impatient with yourself and your teammates. Just keeping your cool and making sure that you're doing everything you can. You're doing your job, as Bill Belichick says. And he's headed to his next Super Bowl.
I was just about to mention the exact same thing. Yeah, Bill Belichick, one of the biggest proponents of the philosophy of just do your job, do your assignment, whatever it is that you need to do. If you can do that, we can win the game. Just everyone do what they're responsible for. Don't worry about anything else. I'll handle that on the coach. And I think Spalding's been really exemplifying that kind of philosophy here today.
Here for Gilman, stepping onto the court, we have Mike Willis alongside Brandon Madison and Jalen Rucker. And then we have Foster and Ehrlich. Ehrlich and Rucker are the ones on the right side of the court. Spalding still convening, and now they head back onto the court. Of course, if you'd like to donate to Greyhound TV, we would very much appreciate it. It makes what we do possible, and you, the viewers, are what is most important to us. You can go to greyhoundtv.org. At the donate page, that's where you can do that. Foster now for Gilman. Stepping back, now he drives inside the arc. He gives it off to Drew Ehrlich. A nice pass from him. Ehrlich to Jalen Rucker. Now to Foster again. With 1:50 on the clock in the first quarter, Foster loses it as he falls down, and it's going to go the way of Spalding as it's a turnover.
Little miscommunication there from the Gilman guys, just looking for the pass that wasn't there. I think that they're going to want to smooth over as this game continues to go on, but, you know, just a little bit of a head mistake. And as minor as that seems, that's a possession they lost, and those kind of things build. And, you know, we were talking about how excited we were for the spring season. Another guy that's really excited for the spring season is Wade Ausler, a lacrosse player who also is tuning into this night's game.
Fantastic.
So shout out to him.
Glad to have Wade Ausler along board here tonight. Great lacrosse player for the Gilman Greyhounds. Here's O'Farrell. Looking for somewhere to go with it. He steps briefly inside the arc. Now he gives it back out to McCormick. McCormick in the drive. An open lane. He passes, puts it up, and Bozeman gets it for two. Jalen Rucker now for Gilman. 18-14 your score in favor of Spalding. Mike Willis. And the pass cannot be corralled by Donald Duncan, but he saves it before it crosses midcourt. Duncan puts the moves on, spins, and here's the jumper. It's good. 18-16. Here comes Connor Anthony. Anthony, the give-off. O'Farrell puts it up with one hand. No good. Just could not get it far enough to his right. Foster gets it. For Gilman, he brings it down court. Crosses midcourt and gives it over to Jalen Rucker. Under a minute to go now in the first quarter. Drew Ehrlich over to Donald Duncan. Duncan driving, finding a lane, putting it up. But they're going to say he traveled. And Nathan, I think that was pretty obvious.
Yeah, just, you know, you got to count the steps in your head, and sometimes it just gets away from you. An honest mistake there by Donald Duncan, just trying to make something happen. They're just trying to put the ball up, and, of course, an obvious walk right there by Donald.
And Nathan, I think that's just an example of concentration being key.
Yeah, and in the heat of the game, sometimes we forget that stuff, and it's such an easy thing to miscount, just taking one extra step maybe when you weren't intending to. An honest mistake by Donald.
Anthony putting it up, getting two, and having an opportunity to go to the line here as he has a foul issued against the Greyhounds after contact.
Michael Willis. That last basket was good, but number 4 was Anthony.
It's 20-16, and Connor Anthony with an opportunity to make it 21-16. And he does, after it bounces around there above the rim a little bit. Shot clock is off, 27 seconds until we end the first quarter of play here at Gilman. An exciting one so far. Close game. Rucker passes to Mike Willis. Willis keeping the foot down, gives it to Charlie Darby, who just entered. Now Donald Duncan over to Foster. 14 on the clock now. Jalen Rucker backing up towards the Gilman logo. 10 seconds to do something here for the Greyhounds. Rucker driving, putting it up. There was contact, and he's going to the line.
And, you know, they were trying to wait for the last shot there on Gilman's end, but it was a good job by Jalen realizing that he had an opportunity to score and getting the foul, drawing that foul, and now he's got 2 shots here from the charity stripe.
Rucker, the first free throw, no good. Seven seconds in the first quarter. Spalding will try and make use of these waning moments. The second attempt is good. 21-17 your score. Here's the inbound. Anthony waits, now he touches it. Connor Anthony driving. Anthony going to the bucket, putting it up and getting it for 2. The clock never stopped. It's lobbed down court. Donald Duncan gets it, but not in time to do something with it. 23-17. And Nathan, that was a great job by Spalding at the end there, particularly Connor Anthony, of getting down court and putting it up with ease.
Yeah, that was just a great job, and that just shows how well coached that team is, Julian. Able to kind of know exactly what you need to do in that situation. He didn't even look over. He let the ball dribble all the way to the half-court line, made a nice little move, and got a pretty easy layup right there. So just a great job by him and a great job by this Spalding team coming back from their earlier deficit. And now they're rewarded by being up 6 after the first period.
8 fresh minutes on the clock here at Finney Athletic Center in Baltimore, Maryland. Glad to have all of you with us here tonight on Greyhound TV. Friday night basketball, always exciting in the MIAA. I am Julian Barron alongside Nathan Heinlein with Connor Doak on the scoreboard. And then, of course, Max Kahn on the camera doing a superb job up there behind me. 23-17, your score. And then, of course, we also have GTV producer Jack Olson, who is currently off of duty, but he's with us up here.
He's doing a great job of standing there and looking respectable. We also have Vince Riley, who is sitting over there on the side, just also doing a very similar job to Jack Olson in that respect.
And I have some fantastic news for everybody tuning in. The Gilman hockey team is currently taking on St. Peter and Paul over at Mount Pleasant, and it looks like they're winning their game 4-2. We'll have more information about what happens thanks to that win in a moment. Charlie Darby putting it up for 2, getting it to fall. And Nathan, if they end up winning that game, we will indeed be covering their playoff game in Easton, Maryland next week on Tuesday. That'll be exciting.
We're making the long haul all the way out to Easton, and that's going to take forever, but it'll be fun to do it, Julian, and it'll be nice to get all in the big Julian Barron CRV.
That's always exciting. Better than the Nissan Sentra we used to haul around. We took that down to Spalding once as Hinton hits the 3 there. Remember, that was where my car almost got hit by foul balls down at Archbishop Spalding.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have really damaged the value if it had been hit by a couple of foul balls.
Donald Duncan from beyond the arc gives it off to Charlie Darby. Darby, the bounce pass. It's intercepted. Kieran Sandy tried to get it, but picking it up here for Spalding is Bozeman and gives it off to Hinton. Down the court they go. McCormick driving at the edge of the paint, giving it off. Connor Anthony. In the corner, Hinton puts it up for 3, no good. Rebounded, and O'Farrell just not able to get the bucket, but the foul is issued.
Foul on number 15, Charlie Darby.
Working underneath the basket right there is Hinton, and he'll be rewarded by drawing that foul, getting 2 shots here.
O'Farrell with the first shot. It is good. Starting the 3rd period over there at Mount Pleasant right now. Gilman, the 4-2 lead, a fantastic hockey team this year, led by the seniors James Cole and Aaron McNabney. Hope to see them on Tuesday for the quarterfinals of the MIAA playoffs. That one rattles in. Spalding with a 9-point lead. Brandon Madison now with 6:47 to go until halftime. Donald Duncan, the senior, gives it off to Kieran Sandy. Sandy driving a high pass over the head of Ehrlich. It goes out of bounds to the Spalding bench.
Yeah, and it seemed like Sandy's original intention was to go in and lay it up, and then he heard Drew Ehrlich out of the corner of his eye, saw him and decided that he wanted to give him an opportunity from 3, and it was just a little bit of like a second too late as his body was already committed to going forward, and that probably was what accounted for that errant pass.
Here's Connor Anthony now for Spalding. Back to Anthony they go. Now near side. O'Farrell gives it right back to Anthony. Number 3 is checked into the game. That's John Lonergan. The pass to Lonergan. Gives it off, but he gets it right back. Jalen Rucker fighting for it, and a nice aggressive play there by Jalen Rucker. Rucker going down court. The pass to Brandon Madison goes for 2. A beautiful pass in the paint there, Nathan.
Yeah, just found the open man right there, and great awareness to see him, and a good conversion there by Brandon Madison, able to lay it up and in off the corner of that box. That's 2 points for Gilman.
And Lonerman travels. It'll go right back to Gilman. Jalen Rucker now at the 6-minute mark. Gives it off to Donald Duncan. Duncan taking his time. Now he drives, puts it over the head of a Spalding player. Up for two. Could not get it to fall. Here comes Connor Anthony for the Cavaliers. Stepping back beyond the arc. Now the drive. O'Farrell gives it off to Bozeman, and Bozeman, the second attempt, goes.
Impressive that Ehrlich got all ball on that pass, on that shot. Able to knock that away and prevent a harmful two. Doesn't matter as he got his own rebound.
Jalen Rucker with the aggressive three, no good. Now near side they go. Here's the drive. McCormick looked like he got bumped. This one is airmailed right over the rim. Donald Duncan on the drive for Gilman. In the paint he goes, puts it up, off the glass. Cannot get it, but the foul is issued. It's going to be 2 shots for Gilman after the contact. Or perhaps, no, they called an offensive foul. Okay, I was just making sure there. I was in a moment of silent confusion. It looked like the referee may have pointed his arm in the direction of the Gilman bench, and he did indeed do so. So that was an offensive foul.
Maybe they're discussing it right now. Maybe they're not even entirely sure. Julian, can't even blame you for that.
Maybe there was a little bit of confusion here. So this wasn't even a foul on the shot. This was a foul on the floor, not offensive. It was indeed against Spalding. So I was right. Unintentionally.
Unintentionally correct.
This is put up in the air, but nothing going for Brandon Madison. The give off, there's the foul.
Madison just a little bit frustrated there, trying to knock the ball loose from number 10. Unable to do so, and that'll draw the foul. Gilman here seems to be falling a little bit of a rut as they started off pretty strong and have now given up a significant amount of points that gives Spalding the 9-point lead.
Connor Anthony gives off now near side O'Farrell. O'Farrell spins around, gets away from Donald Duncan. Now the give off to McCormick. McCormick with 2 men on him. Will Harris comes back over, and Harris tries to put some pressure on. The rebound by Bozeman on offense. He gets it off the glass. Now Donald Duncan under 5 minutes to go here in the second quarter of play on Greyhound TV. Ehrlich guarded closely by Lonergan. Now it's Brandon Madison, and Madison puts it up. Cannot get it to elevate. Here's the turnover. They go down court quickly. The spin by McCormick getting evasive there. O'Farrell looking for a triple, and O'Farrell cannot get it to fall. Bozeman with a rebound, almost. Hasn't corralled it yet. And now he's got it, the give off. Lonergan, bounce pass right back to Bozeman, who's still in trouble there from Will Harris. Now we have a stoppage. It's a timeout called by Archbishop Spalding, and Nathan, I think he was sensing, the coach of Spalding was, in fact, Nick Jones, was sensing that his team was under pressure. He needed to do something about it.
Yeah, they were a little bit confused, and they were trying to find an open man. The ball was down low, and so he realized now that we have the ball, let's just take some time, not rush things. We have a nice little lead here, so just set up our offense and try to get points when we can.
Thank you to everybody tuning in here tonight. You guys are why we do what we do, and we really appreciate your viewership. We're glad to have you along board. And we'll be even happier to have you next Tuesday if the hockey team does, in fact, get the win over there at Mount Pleasant here tonight. We will make the 2-hour trek to Easton for you and bring that playoff action to you live from the rink out there in the Eastern Shore. Nathan, that'll be fun.
Oh, no, I love the GTV road trips. We had plenty of them during the football season, and it's so great just to hop in the car and, and sit back and get ready to do a nice game. Far away, we usually get some pretty good viewership from that because most people don't want to make that 2-hour trek. But here on GTV, we'll make it for you. We'll be the nice convenience for you there as you can sit in the luxury of your own home and watch a nice hockey game.
Top of the arc now, a man falls down. They will call the foul as it was an off-ball foul there. Lonergan fell to the court hard. He's rubbing his arm there. That one was against Mike Willis. It'll be an inbound after the foul on the floor. Bozeman will inbound. Brock Bozeman, the sophomore, gives it off now. Connor Anthony backing up at the top of the arc. Guarded by Ehrlich. 4 minutes to go. Anthony gives it off to Lonergan. Now here comes the drive from O'Farrell, putting it up and not getting it to fall. A fight for it. It's going to go the way of the Greyhounds. 32-21. Gilman down by 11 points. Under 4 minutes now in the second quarter of play. Rucker guarded closely by Connor Anthony. Here comes the drive, the spin in the paint, putting it up. It is good. A great move there from Jalen Rucker. Anthony, who seems to have the ball all night for the Cavaliers. Now a lob, but they're going to call the travel against Anthony. It's going to go the other way, and Gilman has cut this lead down to single digits.
Yeah, and Anthony's the guy you want with the ball. He's a veteran for this Spalding team, and so they're just going to decide to run their offense through him. You can't blame them, He's a really smart guy, and he does a good job distributing the ball and getting guys open for that Spalding team.
And I'm getting word that Gilman has scored a goal over there at Mount Pleasant. It is now 5-2, a commanding lead for the Gilman hockey team. Mike Willis, the drive, loses the ball. He was going up for it and got fouled.
That's foul on number 10,
Brock Bozeman, the culprit there.
Gilman, number 0, Michael Willis.
And Willis will have an opportunity from the charity stripe. 3:17 to go in the second quarter. This one is good for Willis.
And important that Gilman get these points right here, as every possession is going to become crucial, and you want to start building momentum as you get into the half.
And I'm getting word that Gilman has just scored another goal at Mount Pleasant. It's 6-2 thanks to the senior Aaron McNabney. That's a commanding lead if I've ever heard of one, Nathan.
Yeah, a great game right there, and wish we couldn't have ran 2 setups and tried to cover both those games. That would have been quite the difficult journey, as we're already understaffed as we are here. But great to hear that the hockey game is playing out to be a pretty exciting one.
Connor Anthony going up for it, and they're going to say this is we have conflicting calls here. One referee was calling one thing. One was saying a jump ball. The other one was saying that it was going to go the way of Spalding. Let's see who wins this argument. And, of course, for those of you wondering why we're talking about the hockey game so much and not actually there, well, let me explain. Over there at Mount Pleasant, the home rink of the Gilman Greyhounds, we're just unable to get internet.
Oh, yeah. It's always a challenge. We try to make it happen as much as we can, but some scenarios, if you don't have internet, well, we can't go out there and cover the game unless we try to makeshift our own sort of Wi-Fi signal.
Connor Anthony knocking it down for 3. Now here's Will Harris, spins. Looking for a man, gives it to Jalen Rucker. Rucker backing up, under 3 minutes to go in the second quarter. Rucker passes with one hand to Donald Duncan. Duncan on the drive, aggressively putting it up, no good. Pass over to Hinton now. Here comes Connor Anthony. They go inside to the paint immediately. There's the foul. Looking for it there for Spalding was Connor McAdams, but he was fouled. And Nathan, we do usually have the ability to produce our own internet, and what I mean by that is we have actually a Wi-Fi
hotspot.
A wireless hotspot that really does the job. It's really fantastic. We used it for the championship game last year against these Cavaliers in baseball, but unfortunately we can't even get cell service over there at Mount Pleasant. Here's the drive by Spalding, the turnover. Here comes Jalen Rucker. Rucker backing up, giving it to Drew Ehrlich in the far corner, and Ehrlich well overshot the basket. Put back by Willis, no good. Cannot get it to fall, but the foul is issued. 2:21 to go here at Finney Athletic Center. And a big shout out to Matt Weiner of the Gilman Upper School for providing me with the updates for tonight's hockey game. The shot by Willis is good. 10-point game here. Gilman in the bonus now.
And it's really been a quick, fast-paced game that we've been witnessing here, Julian. It's been back and forth all game, as both teams seem to like to move their offense pretty quickly, go on fast breaks, and convert with a lot of speed. So it's definitely been one that's action-packed, but one that hasn't gone well for the Greyhounds as of late.
Connor Anthony now from beyond the arc. Stepping inside, now stepping back outside. He gives it off to O'Farrell. O'Farrell driving to the edge of the paint, putting it up off the glass. That is beautiful. Spalding another double-digit lead here. Donald Duncan looking for somewhere to go with it. He gives it to Drew Ehrlich. Jalen Rucker now at the edge of the paint, puts it up and gets it to fall. Hinton now with under 2 minutes to go. Gives it off. Connor Anthony spins on Donald Duncan. Looks like they'll call the travel here against Anthony. That's his second of the night.
Then when you're holding onto the ball for so long, you're going to expect to get plenty of those travels, as Anthony has really been the main contributor for this Spalding's team. So, occasionally you will get flagged for one of those.
1:32 to go. in the first half. Will Harris now, the senior, gives it off to Mike Willis, and Willis going up for it. No foul called, but the putback by Brandon Madison is good for 2. 7-point game as we approach halftime. O'Farrell to the top of the arc. It's Hinton now. Hinton the pass over. It's McAdams. The pass to O'Farrell. They go inside to McCormick. Hinton goes for the 3 and gets it to fall. Another 10-point lead.
And that'll shatter the Gilman run that was happening as of late. Gilman had scored last 6 attempts. Had scored 6 points in their last 3 attempts.
48 seconds to go in the second quarter. Brandon Madison. Madison almost lost his footing there. Now he drives, gives it off. Harris looking for the mid-range jumper and getting it for 2. Connor Anthony for Spalding. About a second separates the shot clock from the game clock. O'Farrell looking to drive. The foul is issued. Will Harris was coming in hot.
Yeah, Harris had built up some nice momentum after sinking a nice 2 right there, then moving back in transition and doing a good job setting his feet and getting into a defensive position and halting that Spalding attack.
O'Farrell with an opportunity here from the line. Both teams now in the bonus. 27 seconds left until we reach halftime.
Entering the game for Spalding, number 9, Bozeman, again at the line.
Spalding has continued to hang on to their 9-point lead, and we've seen it plenty of times here on GTV where this lead just continues to slowly but surely build for the other team. Gilman's needing to try to put a thorn in their side, make it a little bit more difficult for them to put up points in a hurry and try to claw their way back into this one.
The bugaboo for the Gilman team all year has really been falling behind early and not being able to scrape out of that hole. Let's see if they can do it tonight. 9 points separate these two teams. 10 seconds left until the halfway mark. Rucker for the mid-range jumper. No good. High in the air. The rebound by Spalding. Connor Anthony goes near side. It's Hinton looking for the 3 at the buzzer. No good. It almost went in, but it's no good.
The Spalding seems to know exactly what they need to do as soon as it gets to a couple seconds left. They take their time. They know exactly how much time they need to be. And again, that just proves that their coaching is just so effective there. They know exactly what to do in those situations. And so just a tip of the cap to them for teaching their kids exactly what they need to do.
And a shout out really to everybody from Spalding. I haven't had an opportunity to thank everybody for this because we actually haven't covered a game between Gilman and Archbishop Spalding yet this year. This is our first. But I really want to thank the entire Archbishop Spalding community. Last year, we went out to the baseball championship game. We covered both of those games, and everybody was so supportive and thankful for our coverage, and we really do appreciate it. So, Cavalier Nation, thank you. We really do love your support. As we reach halftime here at Gilman School, your score, Archbishop Spalding 41, Gilman 32. And we will step away here from the booth for just a few moments as we will bring you the second half in about 9.5 minutes. So stay with us. We'll be back. And welcome back, everybody, to Redmond CS Finney Athletic Center here at Gilman School. I am Julian Barron alongside Nathan Heinlein. And Nathan, it's a 9-point game. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's definitely been really hot and fast-paced so far, so it's been pretty fun to watch. And with a 9-point deficit, it's not enough to consider that they have a significant lead. So it's anyone's game still at halftime, which is always a good sign. So Gilman's going to come out here with a fresh new mindset and a new plan of attack to try to counter what Spalding's been doing and perhaps make this game a little bit more competitive.
Spalding will start this one with the ball. Number 4, Connor Anthony over on the near side now, getting ready to commence the second half of play here at Gilman School. Glad to have all of you with us here tonight, whether you're a Greyhounds fan or a Spalding Cavaliers fan. This has been a fun one so far, and I think it's going to be like that for the entire duration. Connor Anthony passes over to Hinton. Hinton guarded by Rucker, pulls back the leg, and now he gives it off to the top of the arc. Driving right back to Hinton. Here comes Hinton to pass inside to Bozeman, who gets it off a tip. Now the mid-range jumper is no good. Looking for it there was Connor Anthony. Now the foul. It'll go the way of the Greyhounds.
That was a little bit of an over the back right there as he tried to jump in front of Drew Ehrlich to get that rebound, but a good job by Ehrlich kind of setting his feet, making sure that it wasn't going to get boxed out for that rebound.
7:36 to go in the third quarter. Rucker gives it off to Kieran Sandy at the top of the arc. Now Ehrlich. Ehrlich looking for somewhere to go with it with 20 on the shot clock. Mike Willis, the pass, goes right out of the hands of Brandon Madison and a turnover. Here's Hinton now for Archbishop Spalding. Over to Connor Anthony. Anthony at the top of the arc gives it off. Here comes the drive at the edge of the paint. He puts it up, no good. Bozeman with the rebound. Now Bozeman goes up for it, gets it, and the foul. And the Spalding fans who made the trek from Anne Arundel County, they're thrilled.
Yeah, they were right there, and that was just because number 10 for Spalding did just such a great job underneath the basket. He didn't make the first one, but he decided he was going to come back even stronger for the second one, and that'll draw the foul.
Bozeman's shot is good. And there's the 3-point play. 12 points separate the Greyhounds from the Cavaliers, and trying to spark the offense here is Jalen Rucker. Ehrlich now. Ehrlich thought about the three, then pulled it back. Madison gives off. Willis driving inside the paint, and he puts it up. It's good for 2. Back to a 10-point game. Here's Connor Anthony now for Spalding. 6:46 to go in the third quarter. The pass to the far side. Now the drive. The runner is no good. Rebounded by the same guy. The put up again no good. Turned over to Brandon Madison. The pass inside. Brandon Madison gives it off Ehrlich. Ehrlich thought about the three. Now back to Madison. Now back to Rucker. Mike Willis for Gilman. This one goes out of bounds, an errant pass, looking for Ehrlich there, but not on the mark.
And that's Gilman's second errant pass of this second half. So right now, just unable to make some basic communication right there and struggling right now, and they'll slowly kind of work their way into this game, trying to make it a little more comfortable. They've been a little bit too overeager, and that's shown with a couple bit of misjudged throws.
Here's McCormick looking for the shot. That one falls for Spalding, a 3-pointer for the Cavaliers. Brandon Madison on the far side, under 6 to go in the third quarter. The give off to Ehrlich. Guarded by McCormick, he gives it to Jalen Rucker. The bounce pass to Brandon Madison. Madison drives, and Madison spinning, going to the bucket and putting it up off the glass. Beautiful move by Madison. Anthony now for Spalding. Seen him a lot tonight. The give, and now here comes the drive. McCormick going to the bucket. He goes under the bucket, but not putting it up there. Hitting the pass to Anthony. Guarded by Brandon Madison, the pass to Bozeman, and Bozeman gets it for 2, a great assist by Connor Anthony. 49-36 your score. Rucker to Mike Willis on the far side. Willis pulls it back. Now he drives the give off, going for the mid-range jumper. No good off the rim, bounces high in the air and into the hands of Henry Schemmel. The lob to the far side, McCormick thought about the three, now the pass after the bite by Gilman. Right back to McCormick, who cannot corral it for a moment. Now he dribbles cleanly inside the paint. There's the foul.
Spalding continues to work their offense at a high efficiency. It's one of the things they've been notable for all night, just working really fast and making some pretty clean passes. And it just shows them that they've really been well practiced and really, mechanical in their approach, and it's really shown they've done a great job scoring when they need to.
Shooting two here is Barry McCormick. And Nathan, I tried to compile a list of facts to talk about in this game, but I didn't get too much as the score is now 50-36. One thing I did note, though, is that a Spalding quarterback started this year's Army-Navy game, rather, for Navy, Zach Abey. That's interesting, isn't it?
That's a really interesting point right there that you bring up.
During a basketball game.
During a basketball game, yeah, a quarterback. Yeah, well, guys from around this area, they end up fulfilling nice careers and having success all over the place. So, congratulations to him.
4-3. I'm sorry to cut you off, Nathan, because I started that conversation, but Ehrlich getting another triple. And I know that was irrelevant. Just fun facts here on Greyhound
Exciting
TV.
things to bring up in the little dull moments during the game. But Ehrlich's been on fire from 3. I don't think he's missed yet.
Connor Anthony, the pass inside on a bounce. The drive by Bozeman. The put-up is good off the glass. Back to a 13-point game. Here comes Brandon Madison. The kick out to Mike Willis. Now the handoff to Jalen Rucker. Rucker bouncing around to Brandon Madison now. Back to Willis. Under 20 to go on the shot clock. Rucker getting poked at. 13 to go on the clock. A pick set by Will Harris. Jalen Rucker putting it up and not able to get it. Will Harris tries to save it, but they say he went out of bounds.
It was a good effort by that Gilman team, just trying to extend the play or extend the drive. Will Harris unable, though, to pass back to Jalen Rucker and unable to convert there.
Connor Anthony, the drive in the paint, putting it up and getting it almost to fall, but no good. They say that this was a foul issued on the floor. This will be an inbound for Gilman here. That one goes against Spalding. Someone getting a little bit grabby there. Jalen Rucker bringing it across midcourt. Still a 13-point game. Plenty of time for Gilman here if they can do something. Madison over to Rucker. The drive by Rucker. The spin. Double covered. Brandon Madison picks up where he left off. Putting it up, no good. Well overshot that one. Rebounded by Bozeman over to Hinton now. Hinton spinning around. Giving it off. McCormick looking for the long-range 3. No good. Tipped in the air by Mike Willis. It's going to stay with the Cavaliers. Jordan Foster checking into the game for Gilman. Checking out is Mike Willis. Now number 22, Timmy O'Farrell checking in for the Cavaliers. Here's the inbound. The pass to Hinton. Now they go inside. McCormick gives it to O'Farrell, who just came in the game and almost just hit a 3. The bounce pass out of bounds. It'll go to Gilman.
Now Gilman, we might start seeing a sense of urgency as they've been unable to sort of work their way back into this game. And, in fact, Spalding has extended the deficit by a couple points. So, looking into the future, they might want to start hurrying their approach and making sure they have as many opportunities as they can to score.
Rucker puts it up, and he is denied. It goes out of bounds. Gilman will keep it, but a great play there. Of course, glad to have all of you with us here on Greyhound TV, no matter which team you're rooting for. I am Julian Barron alongside Nathan Heinlein, our producers, Connor Doak and Max Kahn. Doing fantastic work for Greyhound TV. This one goes out of bounds. It'll stay with the Hounds.
And, Jules, we try to be as impartial as we can on GTV because we know that we get an audience from both sides, and we, of course, love that because it doesn't matter to us which side you're rooting for. We always appreciate you coming out here and supporting us with your viewership.
Jalen Rucker gives it off. Will Harris, that one goes.
But I will say there may be an underlying Greyhound kind of support as we are Gilman fans ourselves.
We try to stay very impartial. Connor Anthony puts it up, no good. Goes over towards the sideline. A great save by Hinton, but it goes for nothing as it goes right into the hands of a Greyhound. It's very important to us to stay objective about the game. Trying to put it back there was Will Harris. It's going to be a kicked ball violation, and it'll stay with the Greyhounds. But yes, of course, Nathan, we're from Gilman, but we value our viewers from both schools so much. We really do. We care about everybody that's tuning in, no matter which team you're rooting for, and we try to stay fair, honest, and balanced.
And especially in terms of the Spalding fans who, of course, gave us a lot of praise during the playoff run, and plenty of them tuned in to watch that game.
Jalen Rucker on the drive, going up to the bucket. He gets it to fall. And the foul.
Yeah, it was just number 4 getting a little bit too handsy there. You just got to make sure you keep those hands outstretched and use the body when you're playing defense. As soon as you start getting a little bit grabby, a little bit pushy, they'll call that.
Jalen Rucker with an opportunity to make this a 3-point play. And he does. Falls right through the net, nothing but net on that one. Connor Anthony, guarded by Ehrlich, driving down court, crossing midcourt. 2:17 to go in the third quarter here on Greyhound TV. At Finney Athletic Center, the drive by McCormick at the edge of the paint gives it right back to Anthony, who's looking for somewhere to go, but they cannot penetrate this Stark Gilman defense. Hinton pulling back, now giving off. McCormick right over to his man behind him. Anthony thought about the 3, now he drives after the fake, putting it up. No foul called. The second attempt is good. And it looks like the head coach of Spalding over there not happy that there was no call there. It looked like there could have been some contact. Ehrlich lets it get away for a moment, then gives it right back to Jalen Rucker. Rucker trying to direct traffic, trying to get a pick, in fact, from Will Harris. Now he just hurls up the 3, and that one falls magically for Jalen Rucker, and we are back to a single-digit lead for the Cavaliers. Here's the pass inside, trying to go up for the bucket. Cannot get it to fall. Charlie Darby over to Jalen Rucker. Gilman has an opportunity to do some damage. Here's the shot. No good. Foster with the rebound. Offensively puts it up. It is good, and he will have an opportunity to make it a 50 spot for the Greyhounds on the night.
And we saw right there that he switched from using his right arm immediately to his left arm and did a very circular motion and put that one up there trying to dodge that Spalding defender. A great job by him working his way underneath and drawing the foul. Gilman needs plenty more of those, as now they've worked their way down to a 5-point deficit. So Gilman clawing their way back in, now having success against the Spalding defense. Impressive.
Foster puts it up, cannot get it to fall. We stay at a 5-point game. Here's Connor Anthony, nearing the 1-minute mark in the third quarter. Hinton, guarded by Jalen Rucker, sending a man out for a pass. Now he keeps it, gives it off. Schemmel now to the top of the arc. Anthony thought about the 3. Now they give it to Hinton, who cannot get it to fall. Foster going over. It's going to go with the Greyhounds, as coming up limping here is Will Harris, and he is in pain.
Yeah, a little gingerly on that foot. They're going to sub him out really quickly, as they don't want a guy limping around in the basketball court. Will Harris seemed to have maybe tweaked his ankle a little bit. Nothing major, as he's still walking under his own power, but a little bit of uncomfortability. And maybe we'll just take a seat and stay off for a little bit and try to recover.
Jalen Rucker with 45 seconds left in the quarter. The pass near side, Foster doing a good job of keeping it in his hands. Charlie Darby crosses the court to Jalen Rucker, who seems to be everywhere tonight, and every night for the Greyhounds. Rucker spinning on Anthony, putting it up. It is no good. The putback by Darby goes for 2. It's a 3-point game. The shot clock is off here in the third quarter.
And Darby isn't the tallest guy, Julian, but he just does a great job of getting in position and getting that rebound. He's a really good, smart sports guy.
Connor Anthony over to McCormick, and McCormick doing his best job to drive, putting it up. There was a hand in there. There's the foul that the head coach of Spalding, Mr. Nick Jones, was looking for. He was frustrated for a moment because he thought it wasn't going to be called, but then he saw the ref's arm go up, and he was pacified a bit, and understandably so. That should have been a foul.
Yeah, just nicking his hand right there pretty hard and pretty obviously. And, I love to see coaches get a little bit riled up trying to support their players and get as many opportunities as they can for them.
Barry McCormick from the charity stripe puts it up. It is good. 55-51 here on Greyhound TV. We have an exciting finish coming up in the fourth quarter, so stick around. Tell your friends to join in. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, and Spalding, of course, needing these points right here to try to establish a lead to go into a half the one that they just lost.
This is good. 56-51, Jalen Rucker, 4 seconds left, now down to 2. Rucker, he's going to put it up, and he does. This one is no good. Almost got it to fall in his favor, but just could not get the favorable bounce.
Yeah, it was really a valiant effort by him as he just kind of rumbled all the way down there, almost tripping and falling over, and just barely getting that shot up, and it just tipped off the front of the rim, and for a second it looked like it was just going to roll in, but unable to do so, though Gilman's not too upset as they have worked this down to only a 5-point deficit, and definitely something that's easily overcome.
With 8 fresh minutes on the clock here in the fourth quarter on Greyhound TV, we thank you for tuning in. And if you want to follow all things Greyhound TV, you can head over to Twitter and follow us at Greyhound_TV. That's at Greyhound_TV. As both teams meet on their respective sides of the court, getting ready for the start of the fourth quarter. And Nathan, you talk about a guy who's just giving his all for the game. You got to talk about Jalen Rucker, the superb passing. I know we talk about it all the time, but it's something to be talked about.
Yeah, all these guys are working really, really hard to try to work their way back in this game. They've got a lot of fight in them, Julian. They're not willing to admit defeat, even though it was looking pretty bleak for them early on. They've really worked their way back in, and it's just kind of the thing that you kind of get going through the season, getting used to playing in these tough games, and really strong fight from all these players. And Jalen Rucker is just an exemplar of that, doing a great job no matter what, trying to put his body on the line and working as hard as he can to get the points for the Gilman Greyhounds.
Mike Willis will now inbound for Gilman. He gives it to Jalen Rucker. We are underway in the final quarter of play. Darby now, the senior, looking for somewhere to go. Gives it to Jalen Rucker. 23 seconds on the shot clock. Jalen Rucker, the drive, loses it, but there's the foul.
And he was getting hacked by just a group of Spalding players, and they're unable to go up for a shot. He thought about it for a second, but then brought it back down, and that's when the foul was called, right on the arm.
And for all of you Spalding fans that aren't particularly interested in knowing when Gilman's playing on Greyhound TV, why don't I tell you the next time Spalding's going to play? March 22nd, 4 p.m., Gilman takes on Spalding in baseball. We'll be there for that, so be sure to tune in if you want to put that on your calendar. Foster puts it up. The mid-range jumper falls in and out. Now Foster gets his own rebound. Charlie Darby looking for the shot. No good. Hitting in there for the rebound, but rather it goes to Bozeman and over to Connor Anthony.
And a great effort by Foster, even though he didn't get the first shot. He came in and got his own rebound. That just shows a real dedication.
Bounce pass. O'Farrell looking for the mid-ranger. Falls in. Dribbled right through the rim. 7 points between these two teams. Jalen Rucker near side now to Charlie Darby, the senior, gives it to Brandon Madison, and Madison inside the arc drives in the paint, turns the back, looking to put it up. He cannot get it. Foster now at the top of the arc. Back to Madison, who's standing on the near side near the MIAA logo. Spinning around, doing a good job of keeping that pivot foot down. Now Darby looking for two. He gets it to fall.
And even though he missed that three-pointer, that was in a very similar spot. He wasn't afraid to take that similar shot again, and that time he makes it. So really just a tough mindset for Charlie Darby right there.
Here comes the shot from O'Farrell. Long range, no good. Jalen Rucker with the rebound off the miss by O'Farrell. 6:30 to go. Jalen Rucker, the bounce pass. Brandon Madison looking for an option. Drives now. Madison, the junior, puts it up. And what a beautiful shot from Brandon Madison. Hinton near side. We have a three-point game on our hands. It's as exciting as it gets here at Gilman School.
Yeah, only one possession separating these two teams, and this one's really looks like it's going to come down to the wire.
Bounce pass now. Bozeman looking for a pass. He gives it off. McCormick the drive. McCormick puts it up. No good. Rebounded by McCormick for a moment. Now he officially gets it, and off the glass he goes. Jalen Rucker, 5:48 to go in the fourth quarter. Pass to Donald Duncan, guarded by McCormick. Darby now to Jalen Rucker. Under 20 to go in the shot clock. Rucker looking to set up the offense for the Greyhounds. Here comes the drive, the put up, no good. Falls into the hands of O'Farrell, who had the miss on the previous possession for Spalding. Now Connor Anthony. Anthony gives it off to Hinton, and Hinton is going for the triple. Gets it to rattle in. All of a sudden, Spalding going on a run, Nathan.
Yeah, 5-point run right there, and they were just capitalizing off quick and easy plays where they're finding guys in space and converting when they needed to. Now Gilman has to, again, realize that they've now been put back down after a really good resurgence by them. So, of course, Coach Owen Daly trying to get these troops rallied for what looks to be an exciting 5 minutes left of this basketball game.
And Nathan, I've been hearing rumors. I don't know if I can necessarily confirm this.
Little birdie?
A little birdie told me that perhaps the Gilman Greyhounds lacrosse team may be playing a scheduled game against the Archbishop Spalding Cavaliers down at the Naval Academy. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I've heard from some sources. I'm getting a thumbs up from Vince Riley over to my right here at Gilman School. If that is indeed true, which Vince Riley, according to him, it is, we will be there.
Excellent.
So look forward to that, Spalding fans, if you don't want to make the trek out, but that's a lot closer to you than it is for us. So you'll probably come out to see your lacrosse team play.
But if you're feeling a little particularly lazy that day, you might just want to sit back and get comfortable and just tune into some Greyhound TV stuff. We'd really appreciate that.
Get a nice bowl of popcorn, nice diet soda or regular soda, depending on your preference.
I just imagine someone sitting at home with some chips and salsa dialed into some Greyhound TV. That's how I envision our fans. Maybe they're healthier snackers. I'm not sure. Maybe a little bit of some veggies laid out and some ranch dressing.
That's what we dream about, Nathan.
That's all I think about.
A nice fruit or veggie platter always accompanies Greyhound TV well. Charlie Darby the pass to the near side now. Brandon Madison over to Jalen Rucker, 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. They go inside. Mike Willis. This one almost goes out of bounds, but it's saved by McCormick and goes to Connor Anthony. 4:52 to go in the fourth quarter. Spalding leading it by 8 points. This goes out of bounds. It'll stay with the Cavaliers. Getting ready to check in here is Drew Ehrlich, and we know, Nathan, he can be a difference maker.
Oh, yeah, and of course you want him in the clutch scenario where you need three-pointers desperately, and so he's going to be a guy they're going to be looking forward to getting him open and trying to see what he can do. He's a magical player, Julian. We can only assume that he'll be a big factor as this game continues on.
Here we go. It's Hinton. Here comes the three from McCormick. That goes straight through. We're back to double digits. Jalen Rucker trying to salvage the Greyhounds' hot streak. Mike Willis over to Brandon Madison. Guarded by McCormick. Steps back. And now Brandon Madison on the drive. Pulls it back. Looking for a man. It's Ehrlich who just checked in. Now to Rucker. 4:12 to go in the fourth. Rucker falls down. Cannot get it. But here's Brandon Madison on the recovery. 9 seconds on the shot clock. It does not fall. Jalen Rucker tries to get it, but Gilman turns it over.
And even though Spalding was starting to give a little bit to this Gilman offense, they've really done a good job of sealing up all their wounds and coming back stronger, and that's really shown on the scoreboard as now they're up 11.
Near side, McCormick looking for the three. It bounces high in the air, and a great rebound by Brandon Madison. Ehrlich looking for the triple, as he so often does. It's no good. Goes out of bounds off of a Gilman player. They said the culprit was Foster. It's going to go the way of the Cavaliers. I'm trying to get confirmation on a Gilman hockey win. As soon as I can, I will let you know.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the edge of the seat for that, because that determines what I'll be doing Tuesday, whether I'll be trekking all the way out to Easton, which I would actually prefer than just sitting at my house and cozying up to a good book.
As would I, Nathan, as would I. Because cozying up to a good book is exactly what we'd be doing. Hinton goes up and gets it to go. Here comes Jalen Rucker. Rucker on the drive, puts it up, it is good. Falls right through, 68-57. And of course, Nathan, it is always good to cozy up to a nice book.
Yeah,
Find a nice read.
No,
yeah.
What, are you reading anything interesting now? What do you have on the?
There's nothing on the docket as of right now.
Right now, I've been reading. What was it? I'm blanking on the name right now. It's a horror writer.
GTV Book Club.
I think, yeah, GTV Book Club. I'm trying to think. I'm not going to be able to come up with the name on air. Lovecraft. There it is. Lovecraft.
There you go.
They're interesting. So if you ever in a library and you're really thinking of a good horror writer, I'd recommend Lovecraft. He's known for a couple good books here and there. I won't go into any more detail into that, but yeah, that's what's on the dock for Nathan Heinlein tonight. If you were to cozy up to a nice book,
fantastic. Sounds like a good read.
Yeah.
Nothing going for me right now, but maybe I'll skip on over to Barnes & Noble and find something sometime soon.
Mm-hmm. Probably some good reads right down there. Not sponsored, by the way. Not sponsored. Just a good place to get some books.
That's right.
Yeah. And going back to the food selection for our viewers at home, I think GTV also pairs with a nice fine wine. In terms of some veggie platters, while we mentioned that.
Here on the near side now, McCormick. Of course, a fine wine for those of you that can indeed enjoy a nice fine glass of wine. And that wouldn't include us.
That would not, no. Some grape soda.
Jalen Rucker now on the drive. Rucker keeping it, putting it up. He's fouled. And I'll have an opportunity from the line to cut this down to a single-digit deficit.
Foul number 22, Timmy O'Farrell at the line for Gilman. Number 3, Jalen Rucker. Rucker, shoot 2.
Rucker with 2:53 to go in the fourth quarter. Puts it up, it's good.
He has a great shot, so you're not worried about him. He's the one guy you probably don't want to be sending to the charity stripe.
He has such a smooth shot, Nathan.
Yeah.
Very mellifluous follow-through. That's a mouthful,
That's a nice
but it's
little-
true.
That's a good thesaurus word right there. Actually, we should just have one just sitting by there if you ever want to look up something that just really just tingles the ears of our audience.
McCormick now getting ready to inbound it. Guarded by Foster, trying to block. Gives it off. O'Farrell now to Anthony. And now they go to Bozeman. Bozeman puts it up. Cannot get it. Anthony looking for the rebound. But it goes to Brandon Madison. Jalen Rucker now for Gilman. Foster looking for three. Cannot get it to fall. Hinton has it. Now he gives it back to Connor Anthony, who I called Anthony Connor on the last possession.
Tricky 2 first names right there. That'll throw you off every time.
Hinton looking to pass. Now he gives it off. O'Farrell back to Hinton. Hinton looking for the triple. He gets it to fall. That is a laser strike.
Yeah, and Ehrlich just gave him a little bit too much of a space right there. He was really challenging him to shoot that three, and he said, "No, you're going to challenge me? I might as well take it," and convert it with style.
Jalen Rucker for two. We're back to a 10-point game. Vince Riley and Jack Olson are headed out, and we say goodbye to them.
They've seen enough. Adios to one great producer in Jack Olson and Vince Riley, who's just a great guy.
Absolutely, absolutely. Both valued members of the Gilman community. Jack Olson, a member of Greyhound TV. Such a tight-knit class of 2017 we have. Very happy to be a part of it, Nathan.
Yeah, it's a bunch of great guys, and all guys that I'm hopefully going to be able to keep in contact with and talk to throughout my years.
Here's the shot. No good. Off the rim. Goes errant towards the left side. Now we have a stoppage. I think they'll say this one out of bounds. It'll be an inbound for Charlie Darby. So as we are now under the 2-minute mark in this one, I have an official announcement to make.
Uh-oh.
Gilman Hockey won.
Excellent. So we will be making the trek out to Easton.
That's going to be a fun one, and we hope that even if you're a Spalding fan, maybe you got nothing going on Tuesday, you want to tune in, we'll be glad to have you. Tweet at us. We'll give you a shout-out. Jalen Rucker looking to put it back. Now Charlie Darby for the triple. Cannot get it to fall. Right back to Rucker. A bounce pass. Ehrlich looking for a long range. No good. Again bounce high in the air. Right back to the Greyhounds. It's tipped. Here comes O'Farrell. He's going to keep it with the Greyhounds, though, because he knocked it out of bounds as he ran out of bounds.
Gilman was just keep throwing up threes, and none of them were falling, but they were getting their own rebounds. That was something you could take away from them, even though they aren't usually known for their size. Gilman doing a good job just recovering and getting the rebounds.
Rucker puts it up. It's good. Down to an 8-point game. Timeout, Mr. Owen Daly of the Greyhounds.
And, of course, at this point, with a minute 27 left in the game and a 10-point deficit, this is going to be this has to be for Gilman, really. Or excuse me, I think it's, what is the deficit now? I'm not too good with math. 63 to 71. That'd
be 8 points.
That'd be 8 points. Yes, that would be 8 points.
I'm in there for the save.
Yeah,
Much like Drew Ehrlich last year against Spalding.
Yep, much like Drew Ehrlich. Well done. Good. You and your alliterations and such. Yeah, so now down by 8. There has to be a really intense sense of urgency. You have to really hope that your guys are going to be able to come through with threes, and you're going to have to start fouling the Spalding players. So I'm sure that's what Coach Owen Daly is talking about on the sideline, getting the guys ready for what has to be a really intense and really fast-paced finish to this game.
And, of course, nothing's impossible, Nathan.
No.
An 8-point deficit, you're going to foul. There's always the chance that guys miss their shots.
Yeah, and sometimes the improbable becomes the possible. So.
And then the probable. And then history.
Yeah, and then history.
1:27 to go until we hit the final buzzer. Unless, of course, this game goes to overtime. And I think at this point, for both the Greyhound team and the Greyhound fans, that would even be a blessing.
Yeah, I'm sure they would definitely welcome that. It's an 8-point deficit. Seems like it's going to be very difficult to come back from.
McCormick the pass inside, now to Hinton. Full court press here for the Greyhounds. Ehrlich looking to press it. McCormick gives it off to Hinton. Backing up now. Spalding trying to take time off the clock. The drive. Hinton gives it off to Bozeman. Now back to Anthony. And right back to O'Farrell. Anthony looking for somewhere to go with it. 1:07 to go in the fourth quarter. Playing a little gimmick catch there. Connor Anthony goes to Hinton. 9 on the shot clock. We have a foul. A lot of time wasted there. Only 1 second above the 1-minute threshold. 1:01 on the clock.
Yeah, they fouled him right there, and I think it would have been much smarter to have just fouled him as he was driving down. Like, as soon as the first guy had touched the ball, just to have fouled him, just saving a good 20 seconds there, and who knows how much time still they're going to be able to take off the clock in this possession.
Spalding, a fresh shot clock here. We have a foul issued. 58 seconds on the clock. This foul goes against Jalen Rucker of Gilman. Gilman, of course, being forced to foul here. They're going to try and put Spalding in the bonus.
Yeah, now with a 3-possession lead, Spalding is sitting pretty to come out with this game as the champion here, and now with a foul, they have an opportunity to even increase that lead.
This will now put Spalding to the line as they officially enter the bonus territory with 7 fouls issued against them. Hinton does not get it to fall. That's exactly what Gilman needed. Foster corrals it. 53 seconds left to go. The Gilman Greyhounds looking for a miracle. Jalen Rucker puts it up. He's fouled, and it gets it to go, and it counts.
So now with an opportunity for the N1. That would be a great, great thing for this Gilman team to try to shorten this lead up to 5 points.
71-65. Jalen Rucker trying to make it 71-66. Can he do it? We'll find out in a moment. That's good. Spalding now with O'Farrell. It's lobbed over to Hinton. Gilman needs to do something. Bozeman coming in hot. Actually steps back and takes his time, trying to preserve or rather run the clock. We have a foul issued. It'll send Spalding right back to the line, and Gilman is hoping, again, that the Cavaliers miss their opportunity at 1-1.
Yeah, this would be the worst time for the Cavaliers to struggle at the 3-point line. They need to, at the foul line. They need to, of course, convert here to keep this game in their pocket.
Bozeman puts it up. This one is good. So now he has an opportunity for a second one. If you think about it from Gilman's perspective, if Bozeman makes this one, it becomes a 2 3-point game, if that makes sense. So 3 2-point game. He misses this one. Now it goes out of bounds. The foul is issued. This one goes against Gilman.
Yeah, and that'll give Spalding, I think, the ball back, which is a real crusher, as Gilman's going to have to fall him again. Or excuse me, is now going to have to hold on to another 1-1. And Julian, they're called free throws, but they're not always so easy.
For Gilman's sake, let's hope not. That one goes right through. Looking pretty easy there for Connor Anthony, who has been pretty solid here tonight for the Cavaliers. 73-66 your score. And now it's 74 for Spalding. An 8-point game. The drive by Jalen Rucker, the foul. It's going to be a turnover as they call the foul against Jalen Rucker offensively.
And I think that's going to be the dagger right here, is now this lead is too much to overcome with only 37 seconds left. It was a hard-fought game the entire time, but, you know, I think at this point Gilman is just going to, I mean, they really have no other shot other than to fold right here.
That really is an interesting call as Gilman's forced a foul here. That was Foster on it. It didn't necessarily look like Jalen Rucker was being so forceful, but they call it offensive.
Yeah, an interesting call right there, and perhaps it was something that we didn't see on the other side, a little bit of a grabbing and pushing on Jalen's part, but you know, we can only make assumptions here. We're not exactly sure what the call was on.
(74-66), now 75-66. This one is good. We're getting some people in our Greyhound TV chat shouting out Kieran Sandy from the UK. That's always fun. Brandon Madison, this one's tipped by the Cavaliers, and this will be a victory for Spalding. Here comes O'Farrell, putting it up and good. Double-digit lead, 78-66. 20 seconds left to go in this one. Rucker for 3. Cannot get it to fall. Tipped up in the air by Ehrlich. Bounce it around. Hinton going down court. McCormick. And the Archbishop Spalding Cavaliers will walk away from the Gilman Greyhounds home court with a W to take back down to Anne Arundel County. A hard-fought win here for Archbishop Spalding, but they absolutely earned it, Nathan.
Yeah, they fought hard the entire time, and Gilman seemed like they were starting to come back and perhaps take this one away from them, but they closed out the game strong, and that earned them the W.
So now, as both teams high-five over there on the far sideline, we'll say goodbye for the weekend here at Greyhound TV. I'm Julian Barron, alongside Nathan Heinlein, with Max Kahn and Connor Doak on our production team here tonight. Gilman falls to Archbishop Spalding, 78-66. We'll see you next week for the quarterfinal matchup in Easton, Maryland, between the Gilman Greyhounds and an undetermined, I believe, opponent. We'll find out who it is very soon and let you know at Greyhound_TV on Twitter. That's at Greyhound_TV on Twitter. But be sure to catch that game. It'll be exciting down in Easton on Tuesday. But until then, have a great weekend. We'll see you next time on Greyhound TV.